My name's Hannay and I work for Cloch Solicitors in Glasgow, and I also work for the Cultural Enterprise Office as the legal advisor. Well, most businesses they start off life in a different format from where they end up. So they start off generally as a sole trader, and then they'll want to get involved with somebody. Obviously, that's not perhaps the best structure for a small business, so they may want to enter into a partnership, so they need a partnership agreement. They may want to just simply contract with them, so a joint venture agreement, or they may also want to set up a company as well, so that would be to actually incorporate an entity to which they would both be the owners of it. And so there's a whole number of options which are open to small creative businesses that want to get involved with others. A partnership has a definition within the English dictionary, but it has a separate definition in law, and it's just important in terms of the usage of the word to be clear in which version you're going to be using. Collaborating with other organisations is certainly great. You can pool resources, you may be able to win a big contract. Maybe that a website designer wants to work with a photographer and they want to pitch a project to a large public body, whereby individually they may not have, they may not be able to qualify for that contract. An example could be by way of turnover. It could be that somebody sees an opportunity but they don't have sufficient accounts to file to qualify for an award of a contract. And so by partnering up with other organisations, sometimes you can pool resources together and punch above your weight. It may be that they don't want to go into a formal partnership, as we've discussed before, but it's simply a contractual arrangement, like a consortium agreement, perhaps an unincorporated association. But again, it's just important to have some form of document that regulates the terms of that arrangement. It doesn't need to be an agreement for a partnership to exist. The best thing is to, in any sort of arrangement, is just to confirm the terms. It doesn't need to be some 20-page agreement with ribbons tied to it or anything like that and great seals being used, but just simply even an email. If you've had a conversation, you're going to embark on a venture with somebody, sending an email confirming this is what we talked about, this was my understanding of the terms, is that correct? Then just having that sort of record in an audit trail of what was discussed, what was agreed, and work that's been carried out on that basis is certainly a prudent move to make. Unfortunately, I would certainly say that you contact a lawyer to prepare one, but it's not necessary. You could set out and cover some of these things that we've discussed, these points, as long as they agree it, they sign the document, it's in writing, then I think that that's a good starting point there. It's just to think logically through it and address the items one by one. There may be some places that you could go to find a partnership agreement online. There's arts organisations, there's certainly ones that I'm aware of in London which produce template documents, but there's certain risks involved in actually going to those locations. For example, here in Scotland we have an entirely different set of laws, and so using templates often from online resources, it could be subject to American laws, it could be subject to the English courts, and so there's a number of difficulties that can arise from using free templates off the internet. If you do find one you do want to use it, it's certainly worth booking an appointment with the Cultural Enterprise Office. We can check some of these points for you and just make sure it's safe. Once things start happening, businesses start making money, often things are forgotten. So a partnership agreement would be most advisable. That would set out the name of the partnership that they're going to trade under, what sort of capital requirements there are, so who's putting money in, who's bringing assets to the enterprise, what roles do they have, what accountability do they have, and what share of the profits and perhaps, unfortunately, the losses do they have to bear as well. The procedure for winding up. So if they decide after a few years we've had it, we've done what we set out to do, then there would be a procedure for that as well. So these sorts of events in a business life would be covered by a partnership document, and it would certainly be advisable to have one prepared. Getting out of a partnership can be very problematic, and it would be extremely problematic if there's no partnership agreement. Partnership agreement is probably the first place to go to It may have been that the partnership's been trading for a number of years, so this could be lost. It could be in a drawer somewhere, but it's good to keep your papers together. It's obviously good to give a copy to your advisor, your accountant, or your lawyer, your banker even, or if you have a regulatory body. Sometimes you have to file with, for example, the ARB, the Architects Registration Board, or the Law Society in our case. So good to have a third party who holds a copy of some of the constitutional documents. If you're a company, some of these documents can be registered with Companies House, and so the government would have a copy as well. But knowing where any agreement is and then checking the terms of that would be the best thing to do. If you don't have an agreement, then getting round the table and having an honest and frank conversation is the best. Check out the other person. Make sure you've done your diligence to make sure that they're able to perform. If you're going into partnership with somebody because they said they can do a certain thing, letters of reference, have they done it before? Is there anybody that would back them up with those claims? Most importantly, have fun. It is business. There is some serious things to consider, but if you're not enjoying the process, then that's regretful.